start bringing some photographs. A few minutes, I came back, showed him photographs. He said, definitely I would like to visit you in your studio. He looked at the pieces, and he was there with the director of the Ohio Museum, I believe. And they asked him different questions. Finally, he said, I'll buy this one here. And then he said, bring the other one, or the other one, and buy this one too. I was very happy to receive that money. With that money, I had my first one-man show. But later, he called me one day and he said, I'm in New York, would you like to have a dinner with me? So I went to his home, beautiful place. I never have seen so beautiful things there in a private house. Rembrandt, El Greco, Greek marble, so many masterpieces. So finally he said, let's go to the mothers. And he smiled. He opened the door, and there I saw Rodin's Evie. On the other side was Hans Hofmann.
Right.
And anyway, some Picasso's arts in the studio. He said I commissioned him to do that for me. And then on the table it was George Koras. I felt so nice.
What a compliment.
Yeah, it was a very great compliment.
Well, is there a particular piece you'd like to speak about, or we could? There's about 50 pieces here on exhibit.
Well, let's say about that piece there, the sunset. I did a lot of pieces, but they're all sold. So this is the last one I have. And now I used to smoke pipe once, and I was looking at the beautiful shapes that the smoke creates. And I asked myself, my God, such beautiful forms, how could I freeze them? So I was thinking all night long. So in the morning I went to the foundry. I got a big barrel, filled it up with water, and I melt. In the beginning I tried with bronze, did not work. Then finally I used aluminum. And you have to play there until you find the right way to do it. So I poured the bronze inside, and as the bronze was falling, reaching to the bottom, was freezing and created beautiful shapes. And then I used these shapes as a point of departure. And from there I created the other things.
Does the piece evolve from when you first visualize it in your mind to
No,
the
in
product, or?
No, in this case, you don't really, I don't want to visualize anything. It is more an experiment. I create accidents, semi-prepared accidents, let's say, and then I use the accident as a point of departure.
I see.
Now I use this technique also in wax later. I pour the wax into the water, create shapes,
Right.
and I use it. But always, I create forms, or even with clay. I play with clay or with wax, create different forms. I don't want to know what I'm going to do, because this way you penetrate deep in your subconscious reality. I want the sculpture to come out of my guts, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's easy to conceive something like I did it in the past. You see the idea, and you start like architect who builds a house, you know what I mean? I know what I'm going to do step by step. Now that does not give me so much thrills as the connect with my subconscious. And
Would that be the difference between some of the pieces here, perhaps, and some of the outdoor work, such as the Vietnam?
well, Vietnam is a commission.
Right.
They tell you what they want. That's something else. Big commissions, I did 3 big large bronzes for the city of New York, one of which is 28 feet high. That is something else, although I have the freedom to choose the theme and so forth. But I like much more the small pieces. They are much more personal.
Hey, George, let me ask you about the did that come about?
Well, the Greeks of Brooklyn, they celebrated their 25th century since the birth of the democracy, and they needed a sculpture of Athena. And they wanted to commission me to do something. I said, I don't want to do the commission, I'll do it for free. But after I do it, the piece will belong to me. So I did it specifically for a purpose. Jim Jones, yeah. When I saw in the newspapers and these magazines, 900 bodies laying like dead fish on the shore, I was so upset about the stupidity and about the danger of some charismatic leaders, let's say. They had the power to bring that kind of, or what kind of power they have, Anyway, I was very upset that I did that piece, which won a prize in one show, and then another prize. I have more than a few prizes in different shows.
Skulls and...
Yeah. The body is like a jaw of an animal because he was self-centered. His head demands the death, what I mean, he holds the cup of the poison. And the other hand, the claws of the small, like a symbol of fascism. And the clothes, under the clothes you can see skulls that he covered with the blanket. The people who said that he wanted to help, and people who rapped before he killed them.
And some of them seem to be representations of animals, like the pained animal?
The animals, it's always me. The pained animal, it's me and my pain. The wandering drunk. There are moments that I felt so lonely, what I mean. Or this one here, the fighting animals.
Fighting animals.
Again, there are two fighting animals. There are always the struggle in life. Or the other one, animals also, another form. Or some other pieces.
Irritated bird, I love that. The title, Irritated Bird.
It's again, I never realized that this is me, but after I finished it. Or pieces at the Greek National Museum, they have 3 pieces of mine. One is a bull, majestic, powerful, and full of confidence, what I mean. The other one is the dying animal, which is actually, it's me. And it's the pains of my divorce. Then it's the other one, which is the Kefalos, the horse of Alexander. Actually, it is the theme of a rider on a horse. You can see it even in Phoebus. Right. It's nothing else but a rider on a horse holding the sun. It is a theme that subconsciously the horse, it's my art, and the rider, it's me, striving for adventure, success, or whatever you want to say. So this thing comes over and over again.
I would like to know, how do you arrive at a title? Is that something that's, depending on the piece, is it easy or difficult to...
The title does not really mean anything. I always put the title after I finish it, because I don't really know what is going to, what I'm doing. What I mean? After I finish it, then I try to find a title to help the viewer to understand my sculpture. Right. And believe me, there are so many people, even art critics, that they see the skin only. They don't take the surgical knife to cut the surface and reach to the bone to see my deep meaning of the sculpture, not the surface.
Is that because they don't take the time to do that, or?
No, primarily because they don't know my language, and many of them, they don't like rough surfaces.
Right.
They feel much more comfortable with smooth surfaces. Mm-hmm. I drive and I see the cliffs or go to mountains and I flare through the rough surface. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a question of
texture.
personality.
Yeah.
The texture fascinates me, but the drama also, that the chiaroscuro, the blocks that they create in the surface.
Right.
So, as I said, who knows what's inside of you and what makes you do whatever you're doing. But I'm not going to fight it. I know that the subconscious is much more stronger than any fine mind.
And it's obvious
When
that
it comes to the art, you know,
Right.
if I was building rackets, it's different thing. You work only with your head. But as
Sure.
an artist, I believe the heart, is very important.
emotion.
Emotion. But emotional is not enough. A dog has emotion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes
Right.
more than people.
Mhm.
But you have to say it in an artistic way. You have to put the art there. It's not only the theme. You know, you have a scale, theme and form. They should go, of course, together.
Yes.
But I believe that the form also is very, very important.
George, you were a professor here at Stony Brook for 27 years, a long time. Would you have anything to say or any advice to give for young people who may be watching the program, thinking about studying art, thinking about being an artist? What would you tell them?
Well, I'll tell them, if you ask, you should not be an artist. The fact that you are asking indicates that the desire is not strong enough.
I see.
If you have it inside of you, you cannot do differently.
Mhm.
And you will not ask anybody for any advice.
What would the role of a teacher be then, an art teacher?
Art cannot be really taught. I said that once in a faculty meeting we had there. And they said, what we are doing now, you can direct, you can inspire, you can teach them techniques, improve their vocabulary, technical and aesthetic, you know what I mean, and help them to find them. But you cannot really teach them how to make art. You bring the horse to the river, but the horse has to drink by itself. Anyway.
How do you feel about now? You retired last
Retirement.
spring. How do you feel about not having to teach anymore, retiring from that phase?
I
of your
have
life?
enjoyed my teaching here. I have nothing but good memories. But very frankly, now I enjoy it much more. Because making art is like making love. You don't want to have a telephone thing, you know. You don't want to leave your studio to go to your classes, or you don't want to have a bill over your head that you have difficulties to pay. Now everything works better. Now I work twice as much, but I enjoy it twice as much. So finally I would say, free at last. Free at last. I can do whatever I want now. Yeah.
Well, thank you, George, for taking the time and chatting with us. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you
My
very much.
pleasure.